All right, what is up, Bean Apple fans? We are back again, and it is time for the NFC East. We are on our divisions now. This is going to be fun. I can't wait to hear what the Giants are going to do this year. The insanity that's going to come out of Jim's mouth is going to be
it's going to be so disgusting.
So
come on.
Yeah,
he's going to have like 13-4, winning the Super Bowl.
This is going to be
next week. I promise you that it will be worse than next week.
This is going to be like a Kevin Hart comedy show level of humor that's going to come out of this. So, all right. So with that, we're going to run through the NFC East. Like I said, this is going to be, I found it, and like we were just briefly talking about, a little bit harder to figure out than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was all going to be like basically 1-win team and then a bunch of 0-win teams, but it turned out to be a little different than that. So definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. I did, again, pull a couple questions out for you because I'm having a lot of fun doing that. Mm-hmm. So definitely make sure you're playing along, dropping it in the chat as well, and dropping your answers, that is. And as always, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the channel, of course, most importantly. And drop your predictions in the comments of what you think the order of this division is going to be, 1 through 4. Probably Giants in last. I'm assuming everybody's going to go with that one.
Duh.
Come on, Carlos. I mean,
Carlos, we are too. Okay, this is going to be. It's going to be terrible.
Put your picks up there, Carlos. Let me see.
It's going to be terrible.
I bring the chat in so we can get going. Carlos is looking forward to seeing how Jim places the Giants in first. It's going to be interesting to see how he justifies it. It's going to be.
Look at him smirking already. Look at him smirking already.
It's not going to be that hard.
It's going to be fun.
It should be.
All right. So you guys just banter amongst yourselves for a minute. Let me,
sure.
Let me pull up my notes here, get situated. So, or actually, while we're doing that, better yet, man, this is all messed up. Sorry, guys. There they are. Got them. All right. So, notes set. You guys set. And the show is set. So let's roll.
Oh, that's good.
Welcome to the Bean Apple Podcast.
Belichick. I mean, I text him all the time. He just doesn't answer.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Somebody had given me 2 tickets to a check-in. And I had to run into a store. Came out, they broke my window, and they left 4 more tickets.
Okay. Sorry. So usually I have my notes all printed out and everything, but I had the worst migraine today. Had to come home, take a bunch of medication. Finally kicked it, and I just had to jot down some notes on here. So I'm trying to do a split screen, which then throws off everything that I have. So, all right. So obviously we'll save the Giants for a little bit later in the conversation. But how about we start with the dreaded Cowboys?
The Cowboys.
You want to start with the Cowboys?
I like it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. And I will get to ask you the first question of the show in the Cowboys. Good. So, all right. So we'll run through this. Cowboys last year finished a whopping 6-10. Additions, they didn't really add anybody. We kind of knew they were financially strained last year, and then worrying about getting Dak locked up was a big thing. So didn't really make a lot of big moves for adding anybody. I put this with a question mark because I'm not really sure, but their losses, really the only name I saw was Andy Dalton. So I don't know if that's a loss or not, but it's a player that departed, I guess we could call it.
Right. He did leave. Yes.
He did leave. That's about it. So their draft, Micah Parsons, obviously the big name that they grabbed. Me and John high on him. Jim thinks he's going to be a bust per his sources.
That's the rumor on the street. So
per your sources, which is legit. And then Kelvin Joseph, cornerback out of Kentucky as well. The big thing with this is they kind of followed Carolina's lead last year. Their first 6 picks that they made in this draft were on defense, which is where they needed the most help because they were getting torched by everybody. And and a total of 8 out of their 10 picks were on the defensive side of the ball. So a lot of defensive youth coming into this team, not a lot through free agency. But the big question is going to be, what is Dak going to come back as, right? So still hasn't started playing yet, saying he's going to be ready for week 1, but we don't actually know if that's going to happen. So where does that leave this team? If he's slow coming back, how is that going to affect the beginning of their season? If he's not at full stride, what does that do? If he misses some games, what does that do for the first half of the season on top of that? So
a lot of these. You see this? That's an L.
A lot
That's
of
what
L's.
that equals. Yeah.
I agree with you. So with that brings on the first question of the show. All right. So you guys ready? And hopefully the fans are ready as well. So first question. With Dak, we know there was a huge disparity in points scored, right? I mean, that's not a huge surprise. So how many more points would they have scored if Dak would have played all season?
So what did he play? 5 games?
So he played 5 games. They scored 184 points with him in those 5 games. Mm-hmm. Without him in the remaining 11 games, they scored a combined 232 points, which was only
more. I
48 more points in 11 games than Dak did in 5 games. And to caveat that, they had 3 out of their last 4 games were just blowouts. They were over 30-point wins, but it was against the Bengals, the Eagles, and another really bad team. Just beat up on 3 really bad teams. So if those weren't in there, they would not have. It was like a 31, a 38, and a 42-point game, which really skewed the numbers there. Yep. So, all right. But again, so how many more points? This is taking the average of his first 5 games, stretching it over the course of the season. How many more points would they have scored combined? What
200.
do you think? 200. That's a pretty good guess.
I almost said 225, but I'll stay with 200.
Okay.
I'm going to go on the high side. I'm going to say like 230-ish.
Wow. You guys
All
like
right,
Dak.
I'm saying 225.
You like Dak a lot. We'll give we'll give the listeners a second to chime in. So how many more points would the Cowboys have scored with Dak as quarterback for the entire season, as opposed to what they scored combined with the multiple quarterbacks that they used? So
right, so 11 games.
So 11 games.
Points.
They scored 232 points in 11 games total. Mm-hmm. In Dak's 5 games, they scored 184 points. So only a 48-point difference for the rest of the season. They only scored 48 more points than Dak did in 5 games. So with that, so you're saying 225. John, you're saying?
I'm saying 200.
You're going 200, John?
I'll say 235. Let's say 235.
Okay, are we playing this as 232?
232. Good guess.
Okay.
What is
Man,
this?
me
The
and
price
you
is
were
right.
That's what I was going to ask.
$1.
That's what I'm going to ask. Are we going Price is Right rules, or are we going closest to?
232.1. No, I'm still saying 235. I'm going to say 235.
All right. Well, if we're playing closest to, Travis wins. Wow. So you guys overshot significantly. It was 172 more points he would have scored combined.
How does Travis win?
You said 235.
Who?
No, I did. I said 235. Jim
what
said
did you
200.
say? Oh, you went 200. Sorry, I was going 225. Sorry, yes. Sorry, Travis. Jim, winner. First question, dinner.
Just like the Giants.
172 points, more than the combined total there. So the combined 232 and 184. So that, so just insane to think about how much of an impact he would have had on that offense. We saw it going out the gate, but to think that they left 172 potential points on the field is ridiculous. That is a lot of points. So, so with Dak, they would have scored on average for the season 588 points. That's a lot. That is
Yes.
a lot of scoring.
He was lighting it up in the beginning.
He was.
Yes.
I mean, 5-8 pushing 600 points in the season. That's insane. And who knows what they would have done in those blowout games that Andy Dalton put up those type of numbers. God. So another thing my last thing with this, and this is going to be my bold prediction for the year, and you guys will know how much I love this guy, CeeDee Lamb, my man crush from last year, 111 targets, 935 yards, 5 touchdowns last year with that offense. Almost 1,000 yards in his rookie year with Amari Cooper, with Zeke, with Gallup, with the tight ends they like to pepper in there. I think this is the year CeeDee Lamb goes crazy. Gallup, no longer a factor. The tight ends, meh. Cooper, we'll see. Another year older. Dak back. I think that's going to be his binky, as John likes to say. I'm going to predict CeeDee Lamb goes over 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns this year.
I'll take the under.
1,800. I'm taking the under too. There's too many offensive
yes.
weapons on that team for 1,800 yards.
Just Cooper. That's the only threat.
Who's
Cooper,
throwing it?
Come on. You got Gallup. You got Zeke. Zeke averaged 4 carry last year. I mean, they had a pass because they were losing. I'm telling you.
CeeDee Lamb will be wide receiver 1 on that team. He's that good. So that's my bold prediction.
We'll see.
Bold prediction.
He actually tested positive for COVID. So is there going to be any effects for that?
He's not Cam.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's a body blow out of nowhere.
That was kind of a low blow, but that's all right.
Right in the
we'll
ribs.
Talk about the Jets next week.
You got to watch that right hook, man. It's dangerous. It comes in underneath the ribs and just drops you. So, all right. So that's my bold prediction.
I don't know. I mean, can he really move into the number 1? Do you think? You think he overtakes Cooper?
I think he can. I absolutely think he can.
You think he has more yards? He has more catches?
I think he is I think he's the number 1.
Okay.
So I didn't look to see. I don't know what he ended up with, Cooper, that is, what he ended up with for yards. Let me take a look real quick.
Cooper was over 1,000, and I think he had 100 catches too. So you can't really. I don't know what his exact numbers were, but he was over 1,000.
So he had 1,114 yards on 130 targets.
How many catches did he have? 100 targets?
130 targets. No,
I'm sorry,
92 catches.
Okay, so he was close.
92 catches. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know what that equates to, but let me take a look. So he had 18 more catches than CeeDee Lamb had on. So Lamb had 18 less catches on almost that number of carries as well, or targets. So 18 times, he averaged 12.6 reception. So that would have been an extra 226 yards if he would have had the same number of receptions, plus 935 yards, which would have put him above Amari Cooper at 1,161 yards. So he would have had roughly 50 yards more than Cooper if he would have had just the same number of catches than him. So,
okay,
take it as you will. And they had the same number of touchdowns. Yeah, so he's already in that conversation.
Okay.
Call me nuts, but that's my bold prediction.
So is Edwin a Dallas Cowboys fan, I wonder?
Yes, I believe he is.
Yeah.
So
wow.
So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say.
I'd like to see his rankings for the division.
Yeah, so drop them. Let us know what you guys think, 1 through 4, as we're going through this, and let us know. And especially if you're a Cowboys fan or a fan of any of these teams, let us know what we're missing and what you know, because you're paying closer attention to your teams than we are. I'm trying to pull the good stuff out that stands out, but you know the nitty-gritty details. So drop it in there. Let us know. So. All right, so that's all I've got for the Cowboys. I'll give you my predictions when we roll around.
So you got to rotate John and me?
Oh, you want to swap?
There we go.
Okay, so the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, their offense is going to look pretty potent this year, I think, as long as Dak is healthy. So again, my prediction later will be with Dak playing every game. I think you're going to see Elliott with 300 plus carries again. He had under 250 last year, and I think that's because they were losing so much. Rob, we were talking about that earlier.
Wow.
We were talking about that earlier. I mean, their offense is going to be crazy again this year. I get it. You think CeeDee's going to go crazy. I think he may, but Gallup is no joke. Amari's going to get his, and Zeke, I'm telling you, he has something to prove. I think he's going to come back strong. So the big question is defense. Where's the pass rush going to come from? Is it going to be Randy Gregory? Is it going to be DeMarcus Lawrence? Who's it going to be? Very young defense from the last couple of years of drafting. But they played a lot last year together. Even though they didn't play well, they still played a lot together. So, I mean, they should get better just by longevity. I think by far Dak is the best quarterback in this division, and I mean by far. They paid him like one. It'll be fun to see him play a whole season if he can come back from that injury, which it sounds like he can. Well, it sounds like he is. Sorry. Let's hope that he stays healthy the whole year. Let's hope they don't rush him back. So there's another problem. You don't have Andy Dalton, which wasn't great last year. Who's your backup? Is it going to be Rush? Is it going to be Gilbert? That's the big question mark, I think, after the defense. Barring a healthy Dak starting, the defense is going to be question mark. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not going to be facing the scariest offenses for 6 games a year. They're just not. None of those offenses to me are top notch. So, I mean, it kind of may be skewed. You start looking at their schedule. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the picks. But I think the 2 biggest question marks are their D and their backup quarterback, and their strengths will be that offense. Because, boy, Joe, you're right. CeeDee Lamb killed it last year. I mean, Amari Cooper. Zeke still almost had 1,000 yards rushing again. And, I mean, he averaged 4 yards a carry. So, but I think he'll have something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
As will McCarthy.
Right. You're right, though.
Terrible coach, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see if he does better this year. But I feel the same way. After Dak, because Dak, even if he does start week 1, he's not 100%. Right? He's not going to be full blast right out of the gate. And they have no one else to turn to, right? So if he has any kind of setback, if the shoulder is barking, if the ankle, anything happens, everything goes downhill quickly. Yeah. I mean, they open up at Tampa and at the Rams. So to me, they go 0-2 to start the season. I don't care if he's behind center or not. They start off in the hole. And, we're talking about the NFC East. We were saying how, is this the worst division in football? And I don't think it is. I think the last week's show was the worst division. But so here's a question for both of you. How many divisions currently have all 4 teams and what division has all 4 teams right now that has won a Super Bowl? How many divisions in the NFL right now, all 4 teams have won a Super Bowl? AFC East? No.
I'm guessing it's only one. I'm guessing it's on the NFC East.
NFC East.
I mean,
what
I can't
about
think
the
of
NFC
any.
West? Has the Cardinals won one?
Nope, they went to one, but they lost to the Steelers.
So this division we're talking about tonight is the only division all 4 teams have won, at least one. Philly only won one.
That's a good one, man.
The other ones, Giants have won all of them in my lifetime, and Dallas won a couple early in my lifetime. But
yeah.
Right. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And as we're talking about how bad this division is, I think every team has gotten better. And I think about next year and maybe even a year after, and how competitive is this division going to be as they all get better together? And then it's maybe the toughest division in a different aspect. Yes.
Well,
I said it.
So what
it's
I'm
funny
curious,
you say that, Jim, because they're almost like the AFC East for Joe and I. You know what I mean? The next couple of years, if the draft went as planned, both divisions should be pretty good.
After Washington drafts a quarterback, Giants draft a quarterback, and the Eagles draft a new quarterback.
Philly?
Then it should be, yeah. So, but I'm curious to see the one guy who has a quarterback. What Rob's got to say?
Who that?
Rob Short.
What's up, bud? Welcome to the show.
I know that guy. What's up, man?
Let's see. Do we have audio? don't have audio.
We can't hear you. Let's hear that voice.
Let's see.
Oh,
Nope.
Yeah.
I
don't have
think
it.
I think it's that Dodgers shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a little bit. There's a little bit.
can you hear me?
Not a great connection.
Not
at
a
least
great
on my end.
connection,
Does it sound like you're underwater?
Darth Vader. He's Darth Vader.
Really?
What, are you in LA?
Might
no.
have to try and jump back in.
Oh yeah, you're frozen now, Rob.
Yep. So
Oh, man.
while he's going, I mean, all I got is right. I think they improve over last year, but I don't believe Dak will play all year. And when he's out, who's quarterbacking? So it's going to be a struggle. So that's all I got to say. But go ahead, Robert's back.
All right, Rob, you on? You got us?
Can you hear me? No?
Little bit.
Now
little
we can.
bit.
Little
Go
bit.
ahead. It's a little delayed. Let me see.
Uh-oh.
Nope. Damn. Nope, not going to work.
He's
Damn it.
gone.
Oh well.
All right. Anyway.
All right. All right. So I know what Rob did, and since we're not having much luck with that, what he did want to address was how much he despises the fact that they have no backup quarterback. So if Dak went down, behind him is nothing. Nothing. If
Right.
Dak goes down, season's over. I mean, it's going to be even worse than last year because at least they had Dalton, who was competent. Otherwise, it's ugly.
I mean,
Ugly
how is that
behind him.
even possible? How is Jerry Jones? Look at the Eagles got 3 quarterbacks, right? They got Hurts, they got what's his name, Flacco, and they got
Flacco.
Mullins. They
Yeah.
signed Mullins from San Fran. We thought he was going to the Jets, and meanwhile Dallas has nobody. Maybe that's why Philly did it, right? To keep everybody away from Dallas. I don't know.
Let me. Can anybody tell me who the backup quarterback for the Cowboys is right now?
I'm telling you, it's probably what's his face, Cooper Rush,
Jason
right?
Garrett.
Jason Garrett. Is it Cooper Rush?
It's not Cooper Rush. Right now on
And I
the
don't-
depth chart, Cooper Rush is the third string quarterback. Ben DiNucci, who started a couple games, he's the
Dominic
fourth
DiNucci's
string
brother.
quarterback. The backup quarterback right now is Garrett Gilbert.
Who?
Ooh. Yeah. Garrett.
Sixth
Garrett.
round
SMU
pick in 2014.
2014.
Yep,
Holy
from
cow.
SMU. I have no idea who he is, but I'm 90% sure by looking at his picture that he is Dexter.
Is it?
Right.
He does.
Oh,
He does look
Dexter.
like Dexter.
He looks just like Dexter.
Yeah.
Scary.
Oh, boy.
And so now we know where Dexter went at the end of the show.
Oh, Watkins.
You know what? They're
Watson
coming
went
out
to
with
the
a new
Cowboys.
season for that too. By
I
the
do.
way.
He's going to be quarterbacking the Cowboys.
That's a great show. I love that show.
All
It is.
right.
They should have renewed him.
So,
All right. So what
all
do you
right. So
know?
let's run
Come
through
on.
this. 23 minutes on the Cowboys is impressive.
It is.
All right. So
Let's
here's
hear
what
it.
I have. I am not going to have a 4-way tie, but I do have the Cowboys coming in at a slightly improved 9-8, and that is assuming Dak Prescott plays the season. So
So looking at the Cowboys schedule, and Jim, they play the Chargers week 2, not the Rams. So I had to do
Okay.
a quick double take at that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have the Cowboys improving a lot with Dak. Again, I don't like the Philly. I don't trust Daniel Jones, and Washington. I don't know. So I was teetering 10 or 11 wins for Dallas. I'm gonna say 10-7. I'm gonna say 10-7 with a serious possibility with the Minnesota game.
Okay, so does Dallas sweep any of the series with the other teams in the East?
Philly.
Philly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got them splitting with the Giants and splitting with Washington.
Wow, that listener knows what they're talking about right there. Look at that.
That Florida Heat's getting to her.
Yeah.
So So
Now I didn't say Dallas was in first. I just said
no.
I have
Yeah.
Wow.
Dallas.
So wait a
with
minute.
10
You have
games.
them with how many wins and they're not in first?
10. I said I didn't say they were yet. I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going 9-8, and my thing with this, and I'll get into it a little more next week, but I think they start 0-2 and they go into the break 3-3.
So
I have them a little bit better.
I was saying 0-2, and then I think it's 2-5.
Okay.
2-3. 2-3 after 5. Sorry, not
2-3 after 5.
2-3.
All right. So what's your prediction
So
for the season?
I say they improve over 6-10, and they finish 8-9.
So we're all pretty close. We're all pretty close.
Relatively
8-9.
close.
Within 2 games, yeah.
8-9.
All right. So,
Yep. And I didn't have them
Let's see.
sweeping Philly. I think they split.
well, let's talk about Philly. Let's get that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's get that one out of the way.
Let's
I
get
want-
that out of the way right now.
I want to save Washington and the Giants for the end.
We'll do the
So-
Giants last, of course.
Yeah. All right. So Eagles 2020 season 4-11-1 against the Bengals. They added Ryan Kerrigan and Joe Flacco. They lost, obviously, Carson Wentz. They lost Deshaun Watson in his 2 superb games this season. Jalen Mills up to New England there, and Alshon Jeffrey, who remains unsigned. So, again, he's been a shell of himself for the last few years, but definitely a talent for those first couple years in Chicago. So, drafted Devontae Smith. We'll see if he can manage to stay healthy with his little teeny tiny frame. Kenneth Gainwell, running back out of Memphis that I like a lot, and John, center from Bama, Landon Dickerson. So I know you like your Bama boys, and they need to protect a quarterback. So
They sure do.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what that youth can do. If Devonta Smith can stay healthy, he is a force to be reckoned with. So that's going to be fun to watch. So the one thing that we bashed on Hurts a lot, I think, this offseason, but I didn't realize, when looking at his numbers, and this is what we were talking about earlier in the show, is how much more difficult this was going to be. Because in 4 games as a starter, he put up 2 300-plus yard games, which is,
He did.
he had that stinker at the end, but they phoned that game in. So the stats looked terrible. And his first game, he only had 100 yards, but that was against the Saints defense, which was good last year. And the last game was against Washington's defense, which was lights out. So the 2 games in the middle, he put up almost 350. So in both of those games. So that's something that kind of left me a little hesitant on how I wanted to evaluate this team. Because there's something there. I just don't know what it is, right? So what is his improvement going to look like this year? Obviously, they were confident enough to let Wentz go and give him the job as the starter. So I don't know. I really don't know. And Devonta Smith, maybe that's what elevates him. He gives him a serious weapon that Jalen Reagor is not. Maybe that's what it takes. I don't know. There's not too much to talk about here. Miles Sanders, again, I'm not a believer in Miles Sanders, which doesn't make a lot of sense because I looked at his numbers over and over again, and his numbers are consistent, and they're nice numbers, but he only had two 100-yard games last year. That's it. A lot of nice 70, 80, 90-yard games. But when it comes to here, man, take the rock and put this game away, like some of the big names, it's not there. You're not going to give he's not Derrick Henry, he's not Aaron Jones, he's not Dalvin Cook. It's not going to happen. So he could be a very good quarterback. I mean, Rob isn't off there. I mean, he wasn't a bad quarterback in college. He was good at Bama. He got hurt. He moved over to OU, right, and was really good at OU too. So I don't know what this team is going to do this year. This is the team for me that if you told me they won 10 games, it's because Hurts was the 350-yard plus passer a game. If you told me they won 2 games, it's because Hurts is the player we saw at the end of the year. So, but I wouldn't be surprised. Hurts has the talent to be that. One way, so this was harder than I thought it was going to be. I don't know how to go with this. So I'm going to predict, though, that Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the lead running back before the season's over. I think he's going to take over the number 1. I love his size, his speed, his strength, and he could catch out of the backfield as well, which Miles Sanders doesn't do that well. So I think at some point, Sanders likes to get nicked up and miss some time. And I think if Gainwell gets a shot, he's gonna take it away. And that Eagles team likes to hand starting positions over to the youth a lot faster than most teams do. So I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be somebody that you're going to be picking up in fantasy later on in the season. But for me, realistically, I'm going to go 3-14 for the Eagles. But like I said, if Hurts is the 300-yard passer, 10 wins is not going to surprise me. But the schedule's hard. He's young. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and I'm going to go with 3-14.
Interesting. Micah,
Wow.
good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Okay, so, honestly, one of the bright spots I was going to talk about was Miles Sanders. So you're right. He didn't average many 100-yard games. It's because he only gets the ball 13, 12, 11 times a game, to be quite honest.
Mhm.
If you look at his averages, it's 4.6 and 5.4, I think. So if he gets 300 yards a carry, you're talking 1,500 yards a season if he stays healthy. So I think Philly is one of these teams where we're going to be talking about in a couple of years saying, you know what, they're pretty damn good. But I think it's going to take a couple of years. Their front four is actually pretty good with getting the pass rush. It's just after that, I mean, Darius Slay hasn't been the person I think they thought they were getting when they made that trade with Detroit. I think Jalen Hurts is going to need a couple of years. He played in a weird offense last year where they were trying to throw games. Watching Devontae Smith the other day against New England, and I know it wasn't their real offense for Philly, and it was in the third quarter, so you're probably looking at second or third D. But, man, when he catches that ball and starts running, he doesn't look as small as he truly is. I mean, he just doesn't. I mean, he's quick, he's fast. I mean, he stops and cuts back the opposite way. I mean, the guy is quick. I mean, it looked like he had a Bama uniform on. I mean, Dallas Goedert looks good. Jalen Reagor, how good can he be with a normal type offense and a non, again, throwing the year, Philadelphia Eagles offense.
Yeah.
And I like, what's his name? Boston Scott is their backup running back, too. I really do. Those guys split. But I think if you gave Sanders the ball 20 times a game, I think you're going to see some 100-yard games. I truly do, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, can he take the punishment of that?
Right. Can he take the hits of that? Maybe there's a reason why. Again, younger team. I like their D-line for D. I mean, they get a lot of sacks. But I'll tell you what, everywhere else, I think they're going to get absolutely destroyed. I also think they're going to take a step back. You look up and down this schedule, and it's not deadly, but to them, it's deadly. I see a couple of gimmies like Detroit. Actually, that's probably the only one, to be quite honest. I don't want to say
good.
one win because they do have Denver. Again, they'll play the Giants tough. They'll play Dallas tough. They'll play Washington's tough. So you never know when they're going to, pull one of those division wins out, because it always seems like, the NFC is like the AFC East, where they just split regardless of how terrible they are.
Right.
But looking at it, boy, they play the Jets too. I'm sorry, Joe.
That's number 2.
That's what I was going to say. Give me Dallas and the Jets. But I wanted to save that because I wanted Joe to reach a high, Jim, and then a low after I mentioned the Jets for not abstaining it the first time. But I'm going to say 4-12. I think they're going to get 4 wins. I think that's what they had last year, right? Yeah, with one worse loss. But I honestly think if Jalen Hurts can kind of pull it together, I think we'll be talking about Philadelphia and this NFC East as a whole. As long as Daniel Jones kind of turns it around, to be quite honest.
So 4-13.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. 4-13.
4-13. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
Travis agrees with you.
wow. So I'll.
Ryan always agrees, Micah. He always
Yeah.
agrees. Trust me.
So it looks like interesting. It looks like I'm going to take the over. I'm not going to give it a number yet, but I'm going to take the over you two. But again, I'm not a Hurts fan. I don't think he plays every game. My question is, how many games does Flacco play? How many are they going to divide up? Is he really going to play all? Is he going to start every week? I don't think so. I mean, I'm not a fan of his. I get he was hurt. I get he had different. They were throwing some games, and Peterson's gone now. But I'm almost more concerned. if Flacco's quarterbacking than him. I mean, Flacco, I think, played both of the preseason games so far.
He has.
Hurts hasn't even been in there. I guess he's going to play the final game coming up here. But, I mean, they have most of the guys back. Huh?
He's Daniel
Hurts?
Jonesing the preseason.
Yes. He's resting.
Nothing.
I mean, I look at the schedule, too. I think they go 1-7 to start, right? There are tough games in here, but I have them doing a little better than you guys have. They do improve, I think, over last year, which is hard not to. But, he still plays football. Yes. Watch the Eagle preseason games. You'll see him.
Because that's fun.
Good.
Yeah.
What are your numbers there, John?
It's not G's where I've been. It's geese. Like he's a geezer
Easy.
at this point. He's an old geezer on the field.
That's how the kids talk on the street now.
Yeah, geese. That's Joe Flacco's nickname. So yeah, I have them at like I said, 3-14. But everything rides on Hurts.
Oh, that's right. You gave your numbers. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah, sorry.
That's why I did, Jim. I kind of followed suit with them.
Good. So I have them going a little high. I got them at 6-11.
Wow.
I got them at 6.
You love you some fly Eagles fly.
I do not. I do think they finish in last in the division, but I'm giving them 6 wins.
All right.
So I can't wait to hear what you're giving the Giants, and I can't wait.
I mean, come on. What do you think? Did you
Man.
look at this? Are you new on this show? Are you new to the show?
I
Is this your
can't
first episode?
17-0 New York Giants.
Again,
now.
is going to be is going to be so awful. It's not even real. This isn't even a real
too
show.
real. It is too real. Last year, I said the Giants were going to win, and if the Eagles didn't lay down like dogs, the Giants would have won. I would have been
Would have won what? They won 6
The
games.
division. What the hell?
Yeah,
are
but they
talking
won
about?
6 games.
It doesn't matter.
They
It
played
doesn't
400
matter.
football.
It
Not
doesn't
even
matter.
400.
They would have been in the
It's
playoffs.
300 football.
All you want to do is get in the
Hold on a
playoffs.
What
That's all
is
you wanna
that
do.
winning percentage? Hold on.
That's all you want to do is get in the playoffs.
It's bad. So
And they would have been in.
Yeah, so if you're watching right now, go ahead, go grab a drink because the comedy show is going to start in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They won 6 games. They won 6.
And they're going to improve this year. And don't tell me.
Who's they?
You cannot tell me that you think that they're going to take a step backwards this year.
Who, the Giants?
Over 6.
We'll talk.
You think that they're going to go backwards with the additions they made?
They
Holy
still
cow,
have
can't wait to hear
Daniel Jones.
That's not.
He's terrible. You guys, after watching Justin Fields, I'm like, Giants fans are going to hate themselves when they're drafting that kid from Oklahoma this year. They're going to hate themselves.
Yeah, I'm not. That's yet to be seen. We don't know that, right? That's
No, we do know. Daniel Jones.
We don't know.
Daniel Jones.
We don't know what Fields is going to do. We don't know what Fields is going to do.
But I have a pretty good idea.
If it's anything like the preseason,
I have a pretty good idea.
We'll see.
I mean, he's no Zach Wilson, but he looks pretty good.
Just
He looks pretty.
stop.
All right. So hopefully everybody's back from getting their drinks. Let's dive into the Washington. Washington football team, 2020, the first place 7-9 Washington football team. So they added William Jackson, cornerback, Curtis Samuel, big addition, Eric Flowers on the line, and of course, the magic man himself, Ryan Fitzpatrick. So
Wait, what is he, 48? I mean, you guys are
think so.
banking on this guy winning the division, Fitzpatrick?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm going to hear? Don't even tell me. If you two are going to say Washington's winning the division, just mute your mic.
Well, I'm not going to give it away just yet, but
Holy cow.
They draft Rattler. Jim just quit the show. Travis,
awesome.
he's honestly going to say the Giants are coming in first with Daniel Jones. He's going to say it. So just be prepared for it.
Is my mic on? Can you guys hear me?
yeah,
We sure can. So who are we talking about? Washington right now?
Washington. All right, so
Perfect.
losses. Losses. Ryan Kerrigan, key defensive player on that team for a decade, seems like, right? Ronald Darby and Morgan Moses up to the Jets, which I really like that they cut him and let us just scoop that offensive lineman up. They drafted Jamin Davis and Samuel Cosme, offensive lineman from Texas. nice defensive player. I don't know if I think it was a little bit of a reach, but nice offensive line help there as well. Two players that stood out. So, question number 2 for you guys. Ryan Fitzmagic. So,
is he going to win the division?
This is I want to hear Jim's answer on this, because if we're banking on Fitzmagic to win the division, how many more yards would Ryan Fitzpatrick have thrown over a 16-game season if he hadn't been benched for Tua repeatedly than all of the Washington football team quarterbacks combined?
Oh my God, come on. What kind of question is this? So he was out after what, week 4? So we're talking about 12 games. Right? You're talking about 12 games for Fitzpatrick.
I don't even think he got 12. I don't know.
Well, I think he went 4-0 and then they sat him.
Yeah.
And he didn't start again maybe until... Didn't he start one more game at the end of the year?
He got into a couple more. He played 9 games.
So you
9
want to know
games
how many
last
more
year.
yards if he played all 16?
Yeah,
I don't even know how to think about this.
I don't even over the Washington quarterbacks.
So the Washington quarterbacks had 3,800 yards passing. To give you a baseline to go off of. Washington quarterbacks last year, 3,800 yards.
I gotta write this down.
All right.
3,800 for WFT.
So how many more yards do you think Fitzpatrick would have thrown if he played 16 games than that entire football team? So this is where you're going to see the difference. I know it's ridiculous when you hear the numbers, though.
So I feel like Matt Damon and Goodwill Hunting, like I should be writing on a board at night after I'm mopping the floor.
John,
it's not your fault. Don't do this to me, man.
It's not your fault.
Don't do this to me, man. Not you, Joe. Don't do this to me, man.
Come here. It's not your fault.
2 more yards. Is that right?
Two more.
2 more?
All right. So he's going low. I like it.
I'm saying 250.
250. All right. 450. Wow. Look at this spread.
I don't even know what to think right now.
Does pick 6 count? Do those count when the other team catches the ball and run it back?
So why don't we say
negative
completion? No. Okay, good. I think he might be counting those.
I'm gonna say we're talking yards or points.
Yards. How many more yards would Ryan Fitzpatrick have thrown in an entire season if he had started the whole year than the Washington quarterback?
This out? You really have an answer for this?
This guy figured it out.
So I think he would have threw for close to 4,000 yards. So if you said they threw for 3,800, I'll say like 165. I'm with, man, once again, me and Travis are close.
You guys are close.
I'll say 165.
That's very impressive. Oh, wait, 350.
Oh, I'm still sticking with 165.
Is that a range? He wants to be from 135 to 350?
Maybe.
All right. Let me give you. So,
please,
you guys are way off. Way off. Carlos is the closest. He would have thrown for 900 more yards if he would have played 16 games. Yes.
Your math is wrong. You figured this out? It's got to be. This is wrong.
It's not wrong. Go look at the numbers. Go look at the average, and you'll figure.
He started out 4-0, and he probably had a lot of yards in those games.
So
his average per game was high. There's no way he would have continued that.
In 9 games, 267 attempts, he threw 2,091 yards.
Well, and a lot of that was in mop-up duty too. So he went to Harvard. He's wicked smart.
Yeah. So if you look at Washington, they had. So what I did was took the attempts for all the Washington quarterbacks was like 611, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's 267 times his average times the difference between. So I took his average yards per pass and the difference between Washington's and his attempts, multiplied those together, added those yards to his actual yards, and it comes out at 4,696 yards is what he would have thrown. If you add in the attempts, the equal number of attempts that he would have made in Washington. Probably doesn't make sense, but if you ask Matt Damon, it makes sense.
I don't understand.
So
I mean, he did go to Harvard, so it does make sense.
So he had 2,000 yards in a third, almost a third of the passes that Washington made. So, yeah. Anyway, so that came out to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but 900 more yards, which is a big. That's a lot. That is a lot.
A real lot.
So that's the point that I'm trying to make without getting all scientific and nerdy. He would have thrown for a lot more yards than what Washington had available last year. So almost 1,000 more yards is significant. So the other thing is Antonio Gibson had an awesome rookie year. And here's more stats for you that I figured out. So yes, they are probably wrong. But if he would have had 43 more carries on the season, which would have put him at 213 carries. That would have put him into the top 10 for running back carries. He was just outside of it at 180 carries.
Yeah.
He would have hit 1,000 yards rushing. So he was close. He was off by like 125 yards or something like that. So if he would have gotten roughly 43 more carries, he would have hit that 1,000-yard mark, which is pretty good for that team and the offense that they had. So that stands out significantly, and there's no reason to think that this year, going into year 2, he's conditioned, he's a little more used to the NFL. No reason to think that he can't take on those 43 more carries and be a 1,000-yard rusher next year. So that's what stood out to me with Washington. I'm not going to give you my final standings until we go all the way through.
Gotcha. So of course, Washington's D, no joke, right? I mean, Chase Young anchors that D. He's almost like Khalil Mack already in year 2. I love the signing of Curtis Samuel. He's going to know that offense. He's back with Rivera. I'm with you. I think Gibson's going to only be better. I think Terry McLaurin's going to be good. Adam Humphries, he's not a bad 3. And then Logan Thomas, I think he's up and coming. I mean, the guy had 72 receptions last year. I mean, that's basically another wide receiver. So on the offense, what's Fitzy going to do? Is he going to throw 30-plus touchdowns like he did with the Jets 5-6 years ago? Or is he going to throw 15, 16? I don't know. But last year, he does. And last year, he kind of had similar weapons with the similar type running game. So, I mean, you almost look at Miami's offense, and the players are very similar to what he has now. And he had 13, 14 touchdowns in 4 or 5 starts. So that's a good 66% of the time. I love it. What will Fitz do? Can he win a division? Can he get to the playoffs? I'll tell you what, if they work this team like they did the Ravens back in the day, Tampa back in the day with Trent Dildo there and Joe Flacco. I mean, those guys both won Super Bowls and they shouldn't have. Let's face it, they shouldn't have. Flacco had a great playoff run, but I mean, there's a lot of potential for Washington because of his supporting cast. Lot of potential, I think. And I like their kicker. Who is it? Dustin Hopkins. I'll go kicker again. There's only a few kickers I talk about. That guy just seems to always hit kicks. So, but that's all. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. So I think Washington does improve. All right. So I'll say that they definitely. I think they improve. So, and I think the whole East improves. I think every team in the division improves off of last year's record. Yes, I said it. But I do not trust Fitz. I mean, so Fitz was 4-0 with Miami, undefeated, and they pull him to put the kid in. So why didn't they just ride Fitz? Why didn't they just
Ownership.
We don't
Ownership wanted to
win. We don't want to keep winning. Let's take him out. How about let him lose one, then you pull him? No, let's just pull him after we're 4-0.
No, you got to have the shiny new car in Miami.
No, well, I mean, you had it. You were 4-0. When was the last time the Dolphins started 4-0?
Because they thought it was safe.
72, maybe 72.
Yeah, but they were driving that safe, reliable 1992 Toyota Camry, and they had the shiny new Corvette that they needed to get out of the garage.
Things are going too well. We gotta make a change.
Yeah, we gotta mess this up.
Pull
Not
the
sure.
quarterback.
Didn't get it.
No. So I do not think Fitz is the answer. I mean, I was a fan of Alex Smith. I get what happened to him, and he couldn't move back there, and the other guys that had back there couldn't do anything either last year. So yes, obviously he comes in and he would throw for more yards than whoever was back there trying to throw. But do I think he's going to get him to the promised land? No, I don't think he's going to win a division. I don't think he is the answer. And, how long before they bench him and put Heineke in? What week is that going to be, do you think? What week?
Week
Any
zero,
guesses?
like
5, maybe? What do you think? So they start out
22?
The Chargers, Giants, Buffalo, Atlanta, New Orleans. So maybe they go 4 out of 5, right?
4-1. They lose to Buffalo.
Right, 4-1. Could be, yes. That's exactly what I've written down. 4-1. Right? And then they lose to KC. They lose to Green Bay, right? They Tampa Bay after that, at Carolina. Go to Vegas. And then the second half, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games were all divisional games, right? So I don't think they sweep any of the teams. I have Philly winning 1. But no, I think looking at the schedule, I think that they improve. But to me, he's not the guy. And I do not think he starts every game of the season. And not because of injury. I think Heineke comes in at some point and starts some games because he's not going to be the answer. So if you want, we'll give you a number and I'll tell you where I'm at with them.
All right. So I'm going to tell you I completely disagree with you. And
that's very good.
I think Washington sweeps the division. That's what I'm going to say. They sweep the division. The end of that schedule is a cakewalk for that defense.
I don't buy it.
That defense, it's too strong, and the offense got better. So I have them losing 4 games: Buffalo, Kansas City, Tampa, and at Green Bay. So
wait a minute, Shaney's
13-4.
I thought the Dolphins were 4-0 when they pulled Fitz.
He's
saying
talking about
they
this
lost
year.
week 1.
Oh no,
I thought
they were
4-0 when they pulled them.
Yeah, they were.
Hold on a second.
I thought he was talking about this year. Anyway, 13-4.
You're way off. Sorry, I meant to mute my mic. Hold on. 13-4. Would you lose your mind?
I don't think so.
13-4.
Yes.
So they're gonna almost double their win output from last year.
Yes.
7-13 by adding Fitz.
By adding a quarterback. 6
more wins.
They make a big deal on a football team.
Oh my God, come on, get real. Yeah, you better go back to that's right. All those stats fried his brain. That's what happened. Holy cow. John. Okay, I'm afraid now.
Yeah, all right. Let's see who's crazy.
So,
John is going to validate somebody's craziness.
So
the
when I was looking at their schedule isn't difficult at all. So look at their last 5 games: Dallas, Philly, Giants. When have you ever seen like the last, third of the season end with the division games like that? So, I mean, I don't have them winning 13 games. That I don't. But I do have them winning 11 games. I have them going 11-6 is where I have them going.
Now, I like Travis's statement there, and I did teeter on that one if they just phone it in against the Giants the last week, because it doesn't matter at that point. So that one, it could go for me 12-5, but I don't like to account for trying to predict who's going to be starting players last week. So, yeah.
I'm going to say 11-6 because I think it's going to be hard to sweep that division, especially the last 5 games, man. Division opponents are just tough. They are. I'm going to say 11-6. What's that? 13-4.
Travis, smart man.
Yeah.
No,
these
Travis
shows recorded
all kinds of numbers.
12-5,
13-4, 500 yards. I don't know. So
that's just my opinion there. So
11 wins for you, 13
11 wins for me.
12-13 for Travis.
You're way off.
So for the fans, let me know. Like Travis dropped it. What do you guys think? What is Washington's record this year? Drop it in there.
Ooh, there you go. There's a question for you right there. If he can win that many games, why is he a journeyman? Why does he?
Look
why
at
is
that
he
team he's on. It's a supporting
team in the league.
I'm telling you, that team is geared towards like Tampa, and I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. I'm just saying that team is made like the Ravens were that year with Flacco, and how Tampa was with Dilfer. I'm telling you, like the Jets with Sanchez. I mean, they were actually a pretty good team, and Sanchez sucked. I'm sorry, he sucked forever.
The season the Jets had with Fitzpatrick was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had 30 touchdowns. That was 6 years ago.
He had He had a couple great years in Buffalo. They signed him that huge contract.
I agree, but they get a good running game too. They get a decent, actually probably a pretty decent O-line on paper. So I mean, I just think they're going to be a solid team. I like the Curtis Samuel.
It might be the best well-rounded team that he's had around him. Best all-around team that he's had around him in his career.
He's the oldest he's ever been. Also, he's not the guy that played.
Statistically, that is correct.
Right? Yes. Every day he gets older, and he's not going to keep up. Shane
so does Brady, though.
Shane is closer with 10-7 there.
All right, so drop it, Mike, at 9-8, 10-7. Okay.
Yeah, they're close. So I said the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think they go 4-1. The first in the beginning of the season, I think they lose to KC, lose to Green Bay, beat Denver. I think they lose to Tampa, lose in Carolina. I have them beating Seattle, at Vegas lose. And then Dallas split, Philly split, Giants split, 8-9.
Okay.
8-9.
Damn.
What's that? Somebody tried to give in there.
He said, damn.
No, so I heard something before that.
Oh,
so I got them at 8-9 because I'm telling you, Fitzpatrick's not playing every game. Just because he's the new quarterback doesn't make them win the division. Heineke's going to be starting games this year.
Not a chance. Not unless Fitzmagic's hurt.
Unless he gets hurt, yeah.
Heineke's not going in there.
Yeah,
they don't have the next Tua sitting behind him.
No,
I don't see that happening.
They don't have the next franchise quarterback sitting behind him.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see who's right.
Okay, so with that, let's roll into the prime event.
Come on.
for what you all been waiting for. All the acts are done. It's time for the main course here.
Encore. This is the encore. What do you mean?
Yeah. All right. So the Giants 2020 season finished an astounding 6-10, somehow in a playoff contention position all the way to the end of the season, which just hurt football.
The only team that was still in it for the three of us.
Yeah.
They were 6-10.
It doesn't matter.
The Patriots. Oh, it does.
Had a better record.
Patriots
it does. They had a better
Thank you,
record.
Shady. How did Fitzpatrick become a savior? I mean, Washington's defense, Sweat and Young and Payne, yes, they're going to keep him in the games. The offense is not.
They won 7 games last year with no-name quarterbacks. They at least have a quarterback that's played for a while. I'm just saying they won 7 games last year with nothing.
Right.
It's like New England.
Yeah.
Listen,
Alex Smith on one leg won the division.
I'm giving him another win.
So Alex Smith won the division. Fitzpatrick is better than Alex Smith. So if they won 7 games last year, it has to get it. I mean,
both in their prime, I'm taking Alex Smith every time.
Not in their prime.
In their prime, I
today.
Agree. In their prime.
Last year, Alex Smith won the division. This year, they have Fitzpatrick. It's got to get better. Has to.
I don't think so. No, I think it doesn't. And I can't wait till I'm right. I cannot wait to replay this show and say, hey, remember everyone? I was crazy, right? Just because I'm on vacation. And maybe
we didn't say you were crazy. You're the one calling us crazy.
Yeah.
Right. No, well, you're
not
saying
yet.
There's no way I'm right.
Once
Everyone
the Giants
can't
prediction
wait to hear
comes
this
out.
part. Come on, let's go.
I know.
Right.
I can't wait to hear the Giants going 13-4.
I know. The crowd is getting restless. All right. So Adoree Jackson, Kenny Golladay, Kyle Rudolph. I don't consider that an addition, but you do. So I put it in there for you.
Okay.
Losses. Kevin Zeitler, Dalvin Tomlinson, and Wayne Gallman, because I know we all liked him last year, and I don't know how much of a loss it is, but still, great key player, especially with Barkley's questionable status right now. They drafted Kadarius Toney, which I think we agreed was a little bit early, but they loved him. They took him, and then a nice pick in the back of the second round with Azeez Ojulari falling to them. Very nice player that we all were high on, thinking potential first-round pick, so maybe it works out that way. So I didn't take any notes for this because this is your team, so I'm going to let you have it. So John can have it. I didn't pull any stats, nothing. Daniel Jones sucks. Barkley's questionable.
Oh my God.
Other than that, I leave it to you.
So I'll say a couple things real quick. I think the Giants D-backs are really good.
What'd you call them?
Really good.
No,
I do. I think their
D-backs.
Yeah. I think their D-backs are really good. Shut up. They re-signed Leonard Williams. They got Blake Martinez. They get a pretty strong D. When Saquon Barkley coming back, that's the big question mark. Honestly, that is going to be crazy.
And what is he going to be?
Yes, what's he going to be? And you get Devontae Booker back there. I mean, he's not bad, but I don't think he's ever had over like 150 carries or so. You signed Kenny Golladay, Darius Slayton, still waiting for him. Sterling Shepard, he wants to fight people. Tight end, Kyle Rudolph. I don't think that's much of anything, to be quite honest. And I'm sorry, but Daniel Jones. Thank you, Micah. Daniel Jones sucks. He does. He's not good. I'm telling you. I'm so glad the Giants didn't draft Justin Fields, because then I'd almost have to like the Giants a little bit because I love Justin Fields. I have a man crush on him. I can't help it.
He's your CeeDee Lamb?
He is. He's my CeeDee Lamb. I wish he was on the Pats. I love that guy, but I just don't like Daniel Jones on this team. I don't. They got a pretty decent supporting cast, but Jones, I trust Jalen Hurts more than I trust Daniel Jones.
Sorry, Micah just replying to his
to
own
Micah. I love it.
With the laughing
He's
emoji.
replying to Micah.
Sorry.
So that's all I'm going to say. But I mean, good pieces. It's just, I mean, with kind of like Shanny's saying there, with Barkley in the lineup, I mean, without him, Jones is going to be mediocre. I mean, I just don't like Jones. I don't. Not a fan of him. Sorry, Jim.
What's the Giants record with Barkley in the lineup? He's a bum. 6-11.
6-11.
Wow. So you're not. So you say you're not going to take a step backwards. That's good. That's a positive. That's positive.
Kind of.
An added loss.
Yeah, added a loss. I mean, I look at their defense like you just said. I think the defense is one of the best, right? I mean, you look at secondary, you look at the linebackers they have, you look at the defensive line. I think they compete with.
Damn it!
Am I frozen?
Where did I go?
Tim. I think they compete with everybody else. I mean, obviously, everyone's looking at Washington, right? The Rams have a great defense too, but I think the Giants are right there. I don't know what's happening. I'm getting dizzy. I think the Giants defense is right there. I think they're gonna keep us in a lot of games. I think we have a great defense, and the other pieces we added on offense. Yeah, I mean, so it remains to be seen what Saquon's going to do. We got some more receivers for Jones, and now they're all going to start against New England. So this is going to be the big display here to see who's on the team and what they can do as a first unit against New England. So I think that's going to be fun to watch. I think it's, I don't know what night it is.
Thursday. Aren't they playing
this Thursday?
Thursday night? I think so.
I didn't look and see when the game was, but I know Judge said Thursday. That the starters are all playing. So I think they've been holding Saquon out just to keep him safe. I mean, I see him running drills. I see him doing what he does, and I think they just don't want to put him in there yet, and just to protect him and not have some stupid happen. Hey, Robert, come on, you're rooting for Dallas down here too. But I mean, how can you not think that their defense is going to keep them in the games, right? I think they're going to hold a lot of teams in check. I mean, you look at the schedule. They open against Denver, Washington, Atlanta, New Orleans. I think that those four games, 3-1.
What?
3-1.
What?
So I don't know if you've. So I think we open up against Denver. Denver comes here, we win. I have them losing in Washington. You're welcome. Then I have them beating Atlanta and I have them beating New Orleans because I don't think New Orleans is going to do much of anything. So I have them. I can't give you my number yet, right? So I look at the offense they have. I look at the defense they have. I think they're going to be a competitive team. I think they improve over last year, just like everybody else in the division does. I think they improve over the 6 wins. They should have beat Tampa last year. They lost 38-35. They had a beat at halftime. They were holding Brady in check, and whatever happened. They lost at the end. Another game against the Eagles, we lost on a drop pass. But I think that
Lost a game to the Eagles. Okay, go ahead.
Say that aloud.
last year.
Say that out
Last
loud
year.
again.
Evan Ingram dropped the ball. Yep.
People,
Say that out loud
people in
again.
the back can't hear you.
Yeah.
What does 2-2 mean? I don't know what that means.
First 4 games.
The first 4
games.
3-1, 2-2. We're close. Okay. He didn't say 0-4 like you two were thinking.
Oh, I'm not saying 0-4.
I don't think
So,
0-4 to start. No.
Good.
I think
that's a positive thing.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait. I gotta hear it. Come on. Tell me what you got. I gotta hear this. I gotta hear it.
Are
What
you
are your
done?
numbers?
Is that it?
Yes, I'm done because I have to. I can't
You can't focus.
wait anymore. I can't
All
wait
right.
anymore for this.
I'll tell you mine. So you're. I know I'm giving you rashes of shit, but I do agree with you. They are going to get better. They are going to finish 7-10.
So
I got them 7-10.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I also agree that they are going to get better. I do, and quite honestly, I'm not just agreeing with Joe to say I agree with Joe, but I said 7-10 as well. If they had a different quarterback, I think we'd be talking something different. I truly do. I mean, it's Jim. I agree. They're a talented team. They are, but Jones is not. I don't know what their top guys seen the first 2 years to not take a quarterback with that 9th pick with quarterbacks out there. I honestly don't. I think they made a mistake.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But on top of that, it's the Barkley thing that really keeps. Like Jones is not good enough without having a nice running game. And I don't think I would rather have Gallman back there than Booker. So now
Me too.
At least you would have had somebody who's comfortable with the system and the offense and everything. So now you don't have Barkley. You're bringing in a new running back. You've got Galladay, who's a new receiver, and you've got Jones, who's not playing in the preseason. So and needs it. He needs the reps. And I feel like.
Well, I will say
come off the rails.
I was questioning this too, like when Jalen Hurts didn't play against the Patriots the other day. So they're doing all those intra squad practices.
Yeah.
So they, but it's still for the division. But I mean, they're playing a lot of one-on-one football during the week. So I think that's why a lot of players aren't playing. At least that's why they seen enough out of Philly against New England that they didn't play any of their starters all game. So I mean, that could be it too. But agreed. With an unknown Barkley and with Daniel Jones, man, I think it'd be tough for anybody. I do.
Right. I mean, so you guys
Not Aaron
don't
Rodgers.
think,
Not Aaron
right.
Rodgers.
So you guys think that the Giants get swept by anybody else in the division?
Swept? I don't think I'm swept by. Let me see here.
So if they split with the other guys in the division, that's 3 wins.
Yeah.
Right? I've got them Atlanta.
Yep.
I got Vegas coming to New Jersey. Outdoor team coming out to New Jersey. Miami coming up here.
Ooh, that's
Miami's
tough.
not good in the cold weather. Carolina and New Orleans. So I'm going to say. So
I don't have them beat Miami.
Did you guys give your
No, they're going
numbers, right?
They're going to Miami.
Yes.
That's at Miami in December.
Oh,
yeah, that's at Miami.
Yeah.
Either way.
It's too hot. It's too hot.
They go at Miami, then LA. So that's a lot of traveling for a 2-week span. Really is.
So they're not going to win both. They'll win one of them. They'll win one of them. Not both. So you gave your numbers? Yes, right?
7-10. We're both 7-10 each.
7-10. So I'm going a little higher than that. I'm taking the over. But nothing crazy. I'm not going crazy. I'm not saying 13. I'm not even saying double digits. I'm saying 9-8.
Okay.
I'm saying 9-8.
We're
in the
relatively
last
close.
week of the season,
that was the most
Washington.
uneventful climax I've ever.
It was.
Hey,
I was expecting something else.
Come on, I'm not out
I
of my
wanted
mind.
fireworks.
Do you think I'm crazy? No. The last week of the season, we beat Washington to win the division. That's it. 9-8. We win. Go to the playoffs.
9 wins on this schedule.
Yes.
I'm trying to find it.
So you had 7. So you need to add 2. That's all you got to find. There's 2 more.
Well, that's what's hard. It was
have.
kind of hard with 7.
So who are your 7?
Let's see. Washington splitting with the East. So there's 3.
I only got
not
2
at Miami.
I also think they lose to Denver. I think Denver's defense is exactly what John said it was last year, and it just got better.
It got better
by adding Surtain. They got a
did the
better
Giants.
quarterback. I think that team is primed.
So who's starting, Locke or Bridgewater?
Bridgewater.
I think
Did you watch Locke in the preseason? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's terrible.
He was getting destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So you see Bridgewater at home week 1. Washington, they lose. They beat Atlanta. New Orleans is not an easy place to play, but that team is bad. So I think it's 2-2 to start.
So there's 2.
I think it's that way.
I think Carolina
at Dallas,
Vegas,
you lose that one. Versus the Rams. The Rams, that one.
That's
probably
1, 2,
lose.
3, and then Chicago. That's the 4th. I think they got a pretty tough spread there between Miami, LA, and Dallas. That's a lot of traveling.
They got to beat Justin Fields in Chicago, though.
True, but I think they'll win that game.
Mm-hmm. I think they'll sweep Philly. They'll take probably Dallas at home and then lose away. Vegas, yes. I don't think they'll beat Miami, and then that long trip across to LA, I think that's going to be too taxing. That's 2 losses. Chicago, that defense is still legit. Justin Fields looks legit. Carolina, they could win that one, I think. Sam Darnold still sucks, and that hasn't changed. So Atlanta, they'll win. Again, New Orleans, maybe. So that's where my 7 are. But I think they start out 0-2, then they even it up at 2-2. Then they lose to Dallas, lose to Los Angeles, win against Carolina, lose to Kansas City, beat Vegas. So they're hovering around 500 at the bye. And then it just gets, it's tough.
It's tough from there.
So finishing 9-8 is,
I don't
think it's an outrageous.
No, I thought it was going to be an
record.
outrageous prediction, but
no, I'm not like
it's
you with
2 more.
Washington.
It's 2 more wins.
Washington, 13 wins. Get the hell out of here. Fitzpatrick.
I'm a believer. Let's see: Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina, Vegas, Philly, Dallas, Philly again, Chicago, Overfields, Washington. Because the one that
Me too.
Yeah, so that could happen. It could go to 8-9 for me if Washington is done, and then they could beat Denver. They could beat. They could beat Chicago as well.
You're at 9-8.
So I'm not saying I'm not saying it can't be done.
So also, that's a 7 wins that I'm picking with a healthy Barkley. By the way,
yes,
that's
I am assuming Barkley's playing.
Well, Barkley goes down, they're going to win 4 to 5 games. Just saying.
If it takes Barkley 6 weeks to come back from the ACL and get back to running at full speed,
they're in deep shit.
That's going to hurt.
They are. They're in just. Barkley's too good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like Carolina. If McCaffrey goes down again, they're going to win 4 or 5 games again, or whatever they won last year.
No, there's a lot of teams. If they lose one guy, it's a collapse. I mean, it's a house of cards.
And it's honestly like Dak. Think about Dak if he can't come back. We've already discussed that.
Absolutely.
I mean, if Dak can't come back, they're a 5-win team. You know what I mean? Right. They truly are. Right. I would cut those wins in half. The second it happens.
The first time he gets sacked on that bad shoulder, it's like Tony Romo out.
Yeah.
Get up in the booth and announce the game now.
I don't know. Even 5 wins might be a stretch.
I mean, honestly, it would be. But, I mean, that's what I mean. You take Dak out, you take Barkley out, and, boy, Washington would just run away with that division. I mean, it'd be a runaway train. Look at Jim. He hates that. He hates hearing that. But, I mean, I'm just saying there's 2 key players for 2 teams that their season truly relies on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, no doubt.
But
I expected more, Jim. I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to tell me 11. Yeah. I thought you were going to tell me 11, 12.
Next week, when we talk about the Jets, we're here. I don't know if you remember. We could rewind to last year's prediction for the AFC East, where Joe said Jets were winning the East, and they were making the playoffs, and they were
him and your brother, Jim. Him and your brother. I mean, Michael's already saying at least 10 wins this year. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that was before the car.
Tom's pacemaker. Come on, man. Don't pick on Tom. Come on, Micah.
Yeah, that Carl Lawson season-ending injury, that was a blow. I don't know. We'll definitely talk about that next week. Yeah. But I know he's watching all his press conferences and stuff. Man, the energy, the like pure joy. It's like watching and listening to him talk. It's like watching a kid playing football,
right?
And to see him lose
I mean, I
the
just
whole
hate
season.
to see any player. It sucks. It does.
It's too bad, but we'll definitely get into that. So yeah, we're not going to have a show on Thursday. A lot of things going on for us personally, so we're not going to be able to make it for Thursday. Monday we will be back to wrap up the prediction show. So we'll do the AFC East, talk about that, and I do have a feeling it's going to get a little crazier with the predictions. So I'm trying not to let you down for that. And then on Thursday, our draft is full.
Oh, Micah, I miss you, man. I do.
Wow,
I miss you,
that
Micah.
might be the comment of the season.
I like it.
I like it. Good
All
one,
right,
Micah.
yeah. So Thursday the fantasy league is full. So we're going to. I really want to try this. I'm going to try and pull it off, but we're going to try and do a live draft on here. So we'll have the draft up on the screen. Make sure you're jumping in the chat because one of the best parts in taking part in a draft is talking shit to everybody who makes stupid picks. So need you guys in here razzing all of us as we're making picks, and whoever takes the first kicker better get destroyed. Just destroyed.
That's John. John loves his kickers.
John's gonna take Hopkins in the 5th.
Micah called it earlier. We used to be in one hell of an ESPN league, and I did. I love my kickers, man. Love them. Now I don't take them until the double-digit rounds, but I do like them.
So please come and jump on with us. It's gonna be same time on Thursday. It's gonna be fun. So definitely check that out. Also, we're doing the Pick'em League. So that's Yahoo Pick'em. Jump into Yahoo Fantasy, or if you have the app, jump into there. Join a league. If you are a fan of our Yahoo page, the information is on there. What was it? 13324, I believe, is the league ID. Password is the Bean Apple, all lowercase, all one word. So jump into the Pick'em League, compete against us and everybody else. And that, like I said, that one, if you guys haven't watched, but last year came down to the very last week. There were 5 of us going for the championship, and ended up coming down to the very last game to decide that one. So it was awesome. Very, very fun. So jump in there. 13324, I believe is what Jim said. The ID is the password, the Bean Apple, one word, all lowercase. Jump in there, compete against us. Come back on Monday, catch the AFC East. It's going to be crazy. I promise you that. And the draft show is going to be wild. So if you're preparing for your draft next weekend, right before the season starts, come join with us, get a little glimpse at what kind of stupid picks you could expect people to make in your draft and learn from it. So until then, have a great week. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the other side. So for John, for Jim, enjoy your vacation. I'm Joe, and we'll see you guys later.